A very good day to all of you. Today I'm going to tell you about poetry. So, first of all, let me tell you about a definition of poetry. So, what is poetry in very simple words? Anything that evokes a concentrated imaginative awareness of experience or a kind of specific emotional response through language chosen and arranged for its meaning, sound, and rhythm. So, this is a definition of poetry. Though poetry is a very vast subject, but but it's a normal definition of poetry that it's a other way of using language. So, there are so many types of poetry, and if we uh, talk about the simple definition of poetry, it's type of literature, or it can be any artistic writing that makes an attempt to stir readers imaginations or emotions, and the poet does this by carefully choosing and arranging language for its meaning, sound, and rhythm. From the very when we all are kid, we also listen some many rhymes like twinkle twinkle baba baba black sheep. So these are all rhymes. They are nursery rhymes. They are simple. They are humorous. So poetry in literature, it's a style of writing that uses a formal organization and that is often divided up into lines or stanza, or it refers to something beautiful. So now there are I'm talking about the elements of poetry. So what is poetry made up of? What poetry consists? So it consists rhythm, rhyme, and these are the literary figures that are frequently found in poetry, like alliteration, assonance, stanza, imagery, diction. So these are the common elements of poetry. Now we will talk about the types of poetry. Though they are three genres of poetry, and these three genres are narrative poetry, dramatic poetry, and lyrical poetry. But if we take uh, the types of poetic form, then they are sonnet, ode, epitaph, villainy, epic poetry, free verse, haiku, elegy, ballad, limerick. And if we talk about some other also, then they are blank verse, uh, right? And pastoral poetry and sonnet. So it's very these are very frequently used poems. And we have ode also. In your We have so many beautiful ode in literature written by Keats. Keats is a remarkable writer of odes. He has written many beautiful odes. So first of all, we will talk about ode. So ode, what is ode? So ode is a type of poetry, and it's a literary technique that is lyrical in nature, but it's not very lengthy. So it's not very lengthy, and it's very the main feature that I'm going to tell you, that ode is the subject matter of ode. It's very lofty. Okay, it's a type of lyrical stanza, and it is an elaborately structured poem that praises someone. It glorifies an event. It glorifies an individual, describing natures intellectually as well as emotionally. So it's a form of poetry, just like a sonnet and elegy. So next we have epic. You all, I hope you all are aware of the type epic, like Mahabharat and Mahabharat and Ramayana. They are also epic. So in English, we have two great example of epic, like Paradise Lost and Paradise Regained. So epic is a form of poem often written in blank verse, and it's lengthy in size, in which poet shows protagonist in action of literary historical significance or great mythic. So next we will take the genre, the type elegy. I have in the previous video we have talked about elegy. Elegy is a kind of mourning poem. It's a poem in which the poet mourns upon the death of a person. It may be a loss, general loss, or some universal loss. So it's a melancholic poem in which the poet laments the death of a subject, however consoles towards the end, is called elegy. So we have a very remarkable example of elegy, that is elegy written in Country Churchyard, written by Thomas Gray. Next is haiku. So it's a poem, it's having 3 lines, where the first and the last line have 5 moras, while the middle line has 7. So this pattern, it was a Japanese, it was very popular in Japan, and it is considered as a Japanese type poem. So it's a Japanese poem of 17 syllables and in 3 lines of 5, 7, and 5, and it traditionally evokes images of the natural world. So the main feature that it evokes the images of natural world, and it's the poem of 3 lines, and the syllables are 17. I have given you example: old pond, a frog jumps, the sound of water. So when you will read this, you will find that it's having 17 syllables. So it's a 3-line Japanese poem. Now epitaph. So epitaph is a small poem that is used as an inscription on tombstone of dead person. We have in the previous video we have discussed Gray's elegy written in Country Churchyard. In that poem, the end of the poem, the poet has written an epitaph in which the poet describes about himself. So it's a phrase or form of words written in memory of a person who has died, especially as an inscription on a tombstone. I have given you example: roses are red, violets are blue, because I am dead, our love is taboo. Now free verse. So as the word suggests, free verse means free from any rhyme lines. So it consists of non-rhyming lines. So what is free verse? Free verse is a poetry that does not rhyme, or which does not have a regular metrical pattern or a regular rhythm, but it follows a natural rhythm. So free verse does not mean that it's not having any musical quality. It's, of course, it's having its musical quality. If you will read the poem, you will find the musicality, but it's not having any regular metrical pattern. So it's a name that is given to poetry that does not use any strict meter or rhyme scheme, because it has no set meter poems written in free verse. Now we will talk about ballad. So ballad is also a type of narrative poem. It's a kind of narrative poem, and one example that I'm giving you, it's a poem or a song that narrates a story in short stanza, and it often talks about folk or legendary tales. So it can also give us a kind of didactic lesson or a song. So one example of ballad I'm giving you, it's a La Bella Damson's Mercy, written by John Keats. So it's a poem that narrates a story. So it's a narrative composition suitable for singing a ballad. So it can be also called a song. It's slow, romantic, or sentimental song. Ballad, I have told you that ballad are songs that describe a story, that can be romantic. Next is limerick. So limerick, it's a type of humorous poem, and it's 5 line poem with a rhyme scheme AABBA. So it gives it's in nature it's a kind of humorous poem with 5 anapistic lines, in which first, second and fifth lines have 3 feet, and third, fourth have 2 feet, with a strict rhyme scheme of AABBA. So we have discussed some of the forms of poetry. Now I have not written here sonnet. So sonnet is a poem of 14 lines. It's most generally frequently used in literature, and it's a poem of 14 lines using any number of formal rhyme scheme. So Shakespeare has written 154 sonnets. John Donne has also written sonnet Death Be Not Proud. And if I talk about the types of sonnets, then there are 3 types of sonnet: Petrarchan sonnet, Shakespearean sonnet, and Spenserian sonnet. So Petrarchan sonnet is also described as Miltonic sonnet. Shakespearean sonnet is named after Shakespeare, and Spenserian sonnet is named after Spenser. So it's a fixed verse and it follows 14 lines. They are divided into 2 parts. One is octave and the second is sestet. Octave consists 8 lines and sestet consists 6 lines. The problem is presented in octave and the solution is given in sestet. So there are mainly the types of sonnets are 2. The one is Italian sonnet or Petrarchan sonnet, and the other is English sonnet or Shakespearean sonnet. So if we talk about the purpose of sonnet, then they usually feature 2 contrasting characters, events, beliefs, and emotions. So in this video we have discussed some types of poetry. I hope you will go through all of these and you will make your poetic knowledge better. Thank you.